The sadhana of this yoga. The sadhana of this yoga does not proceed through any set mental teaching or prescribed forms of meditation, mantras, or others, but by aspiration, by a self-concentration, inwards or upwards, by self-opening to an influence, to the divine power above us and its workings, to the divine presence in the heart, and by the rejection of all that is foreign to these things. It is only by faith, aspiration, and surrender that this self-opening can come. Letters on Yoga 2. The principle of this yoga, its practice, is to open oneself to the divine power which is always secretly there above, aspire and call down its peace, calm, purity, wideness into one's own consciousness and its working, which will change the nature and fill it with a higher light and ananda. One's own part is to so aspire and open oneself, and to reject all that belongs to ego, desire, and the lower nature. Letters on himself and the ashram. There are many ways of opening to this divine consciousness or entering into it. My way, which I show to others, is by a constant practice to go inward into oneself, to open by aspiration to the divine, and once one is conscious of it and its action, to give oneself to it entirely. This self-giving means not to ask for anything but the constant contact or union with the divine consciousness, to aspire for its peace, power, light, and felicity, but to ask nothing else, and in life and action to be its instrument only for whatever work it gives one to do in the world. If one can once open and feel the divine force, the power of the spirit working in the mind and heart and body, the rest is a matter of remaining faithful to it, calling for it always, allowing it to do its work when it comes, and rejecting every other and inferior force that belongs to the lower consciousness and the lower nature. Autobiographical notes. The method we have to pursue, then, is to put our whole conscious being into relation and contact with the divine, and to call him in to transform our entire being into his. The divine and all-knowing and all-affecting descends upon the limited and obscure, progressively illumines and energizes the whole lower nature, and substitutes its own action for all the terms of the inferior human light and mortal activity. In psychological fact, this method translates itself into the progressive surrender of the ego, with its whole field and all its apparatus, to the beyond ego, with its vast and incalculable but always inevitable workings. Certainly, this is no shortcut or easy sadhana. It requires a colossal faith, an absolute courage, and above all, an unflinching patience. The synthesis of yoga. The means towards this supreme end, the divine way of life, is a self-giving of all our nature to the divine. Everything must be given to the divine within us, to the universal all, and to the transcendent supreme. An absolute concentration of our will, our heart, and our thought on that one and manifold divine. An unreserved self-consecration of our whole being to the divine alone. This is the decisive movement, the turning of the ego to that which is infinitely greater than itself, its self-giving and indispensable surrender. The synthesis of yoga.